Chief Minister designate Devendra Fadnavis is now Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Devendra Fadnavis. Live pictures continuing to come in from the Wankhede Stadium, where everyone's trying to get a glimpse, if not a handshake, with the new Chief Minister. He's, of course, on the VVIP stall, where the Prime Minister and other senior leaders and his family are. There's a picture of Devendra Fadnavis' wife as well. The swearing-in seems to have brought in a thaw also. That's one of the most prominent things people have been looking out for in these live pictures in the BJP and Shiv Sena relationship. Just hours after Uddhav Thackeray had called for a boycott of the ceremony, saying the Shiv Sena cannot be treated with such disrespect, Uddhav Thackeray was there personally and is still there. And we'll pull up those pictures of him at the Wankhede Stadium in a moment. After the BJP's President Amit Shah personally called Uddhav Thackeray earlier today to invite him to the swearing-in ceremony, the Sena chief finally did attend the ceremony at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Uddhav, in fact, was seated on the stage along with the other BJP leaders. Earlier in the day, Uddhav Thackeray wished Maharashtra's new Chief Minister through an editorial in his party mouthpiece Samna. Uddhav said that the people of Maharashtra expect Devendra Fadnavis to be better than his predecessors. Well, these are live pictures coming to you from the Wankhede Stadium. In one frame, Uddhav Thackeray and Narendra Modi. Interesting pictures. Well, these are pictures that aren't switched by us, so unfortunately we don't have control when the camera person switches away. But there you have it, Uddhav Thackeray and Narendra Modi. Just days ago, acrimonious things were coming one way from the Shiv Sena towards the BJP, Uddhav Thackeray to Narendra Modi. But here on this stage, at least for this moment, it has ceased to matter, because the shift of power, the balance of power and where things really are at seems pretty well defined at this stage. A huge gathering at the Wankhede Stadium. The swearing-in ceremony itself is over, and there's the man of the moment, Devendra Fadnavis, along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Eknath Khadse, a man who wanted to be Chief Minister but isn't, and will have to be possibly content with a number 2 position in the new government that has been formed. The BJP is first in the state. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and other dignitaries, Pankaja Munde as well, seen in this frame. Senior ministers, senior leaders, VVIP guests on that one stage with the new Chief Minister, the BJP's first in Maharashtra. Rajdeep Sardesai and Aditi Fadnis are with me. Rajdeep, on a... All right, just a moment, Rajdeep. I'm just going to come to you in a moment. We've got some live images coming from Nagpur. These are, well, celebrations coming in from Nagpur, images of that celebration for Devendra Fadnavis, somewhat smaller than from the time right after the elections on counting day when we saw huge celebrations. But this is at the BJP office there, some celebrations happening in Nagpur as well by family members and friends and well-wishers of Devendra Fadnavis, the man from Nagpur, now the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Rajdeep, in a short while from now, like you said, Devendra Fadnavis will be speaking to the people of Maharashtra live on television. I wanted to ask you, what are the challenges? You've seen the Congress NCP government in power for the for the last 15 years. What kind of administrative challenges does Fadnavis step into as we speak? It's a broad question, I understand.
No, it's a state with a 3.12 lakh crore debt, for starters. It's a state which, let's be honest, in the last 50, it's a state which remains, if you purely looked at data on industrialization, on infrastructure, the state still ranks among the highest in the country. But the last 20 years have been missed opportunities. And in a sense, one of those missed opportunities started with the last BJP Shiv Sena government in 1995 with the whole Enron dispute. Maharashtra's power situation never really recovered from what happened there. And that's been one of the reasons why we've not been able to take industrialization to the next level. And in neighboring Gujarat, one of Modi's great successes was Jyotigram. And the fact that he was able to provide 24/7 electricity. So I think that's one big challenge that he has. I think managing urbanization is a major challenge for any state, particularly Maharashtra, and again, regional imbalances. Mr. Fadnavis, in his campaign, spoke of a separate state of Vidarbha.
Vidarbha, yeah.
And he spoke on more than one occasion saying Vidarbha has been discriminated against. Now is your opportunity.
Yeah, yeah.
If he
can't
wants
complain about it anymore.
Now he can't complain. You know, he's going to have to redress that regional imbalance. This is his opportunity, and I think that's been a problem. It's not just farmer suicides, it's been a general lack of development in certain parts of Maharashtra. Maharashtra is a strange state where Mumbai, Thane, Nashik, Pune are, you know, if you just looked at this belt, it compares with any place, you know, across, it's one of the fastest growing areas in the country.
Yeah. Kolhapur has more per capita Mercedes-Benzes than anywhere else in India.
And, you know, but there is another Maharashtra which is in danger of falling off the map, where some of the statistics are not too different to Bhimaru states. Now, what do you do with that Maharashtra? I mean, that is one of the big challenges that Devendra Fadnavis will face, I think. And I think that administratively will really test him, because we know that he's a good orator. Is he a good administrator? That's the challenge. That's the challenge Narendra Modi faced when he came to Gujarat first time. Everybody knew he was a very good communicator, good orator. It took him time to prove his administrative skills. Fadnavis will have to prove his administrative skills now. We know he's a good orator. Is he a good administrator? There's still a question mark.
But the BJP was willing to bet on a person with not much administrative experience.
I think they thought that he was younger. He would therefore be more energetic. He's shown that in the Vidhan Sabha when he's been when he's been a legislator for the last four occasions. My sense is, I think they felt that he was more attuned to a newer Maharashtra. Younger people would have. I come back to it. I do believe both in the general election and in the Maharashtra election, younger people have voted for the BJP in larger numbers than the previous, than let's say the 50 plus. There is some statistical evidence to suggest that. And I think Fadnavis appeals to that younger Maharashtra. They're looking for a cleaner image. You know, I think one of the biggest problems for the Congress NCP were all their leaders were seen, barring Prithviraj Chauhan himself, were seen to be tainted with some form of corruption or the other. So I think it was important to have someone who marks a break with that past. And I think that was the clinching factor in the end.
Aditi?
Well, I think the biggest problem is the old bread and butter problem of Maharashtra, which is irrigation. 18% of Maharashtra is irrigated. And one rain fails, you have a cascading effect of a drought. And it's not just in regions, it's everywhere in Maharashtra. Punjab is 98% irrigated, Maharashtra is 18% irrigated. And you still have a large number of the population, a large number of people who still eke out an existence through agriculture. So you need to address this, and in the midst of that, you have an irrigation scam, where funds meant to create irrigation facilities are siphoned off. I mean, it's the most disgraceful comment, and I think he has to fix that.
70,000 crores and just 0.1% increase in irrigation is crazy. Where did the money go? I think, you know, just as Aditi says, irrigation, absolutely right. Just as power was destroyed by the BJP Shiv Sena government between 95 and 2000 with the mess they made with Enron, irrigation was destroyed by the Congress NCP government in the last decade, because successive irrigation ministers have not been accountable for where the money was going. It clearly didn't go in where it was meant to go, in building these long-term irrigation projects, which is why when Maharashtra suffered a drought last year, the government had no answers. And then you had Ajit Pawar make a ridiculous statement about urinating in dams. So I think all of that really cost the Congress NCP. Irrigation, Aditi is absolutely right, is a big challenge. And I think power is the other big challenge. I mean, there are parts of Maharashtra, one of the most industrialized states, which no longer get regular power. And a number of industrialists are now looking at options for the first time beyond Maharashtra. Today, many industrialists tell me that if you choose between a Maharashtra and Gujarat, they do look at Gujarat, not at Maharashtra. It was unthinkable of 20-25 years ago.
So he's going to have to try and settle those imbalances that have been allowed to build up as well. Live pictures are coming to you. I'm just going to go to our guests in just a moment about some of the specific things that Devendra Fadnavis actually made a part of his election campaign. Well, these are amazing pictures of Devendra Fadnavis, the new Chief Minister of Maharashtra, meeting with the people after the swearing-in ceremony. Lots of people looking at him as a young face, a young chief minister after a turbulent time that has been tainted with scams and a lot of venality, allegations flying thick and fast, and an extremely emotive and hostile election campaign. This is the man who is currently in the chief minister's chair. Great hopes will be pegged on the tenure of Devendra Fadnavis, the second youngest chief minister and the first from the BJP in the state of Maharashtra. A victory parade of sorts for Devendra Fadnavis at the Wankhede Stadium. He won't be able to shake the hands of everybody who's come because there's such a huge number of people who are there. But this, like Narendra Modi in New York, he stepped out, trying to meet as many of the people there as possible. Obviously, security in place as well. Rajdeep, one of the things that Devendra Fadnavis, mentioned very specifically in his campaign during rallies was the issue of corruption. He did mention corruption very specifically. He took the names of some of these scams very specifically. In that sense, he's going to be pretty invested. People are going to be looking at him carefully about what action he takes.
Absolutely, because here is a man who took up these issues, whether it was Adarsh, whether it was the irrigation scam, and one of the feelings has been that the NCP in particular was trying some kind of an immunity by saying we are offering outside support. Therefore, the government won't go after Ajit Pawar or won't go after some of the NCP, Sunil Thackeray and other NCP leaders. And my sense is Maharashtra politics generally, like some states, there are some states in this country, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, where the opposition and government are very close to each other in private. Publicly, even if they attack each other, they never really take each other. It's not like Tamil Nadu, where Jayalalitha wants to put Karunanidhi in jail, Karunanidhi wants to put Jayalalitha in jail.
Not just in public.
This doesn't happen in Maharashtra. But Devendra Fadnavis has promised to take cases to their logical conclusion. Now will he do that as Chief Minister? Devendra Fadnavis has promised to give Vidarbha its rights. Will he do that as Chief Minister? These questions will be asked. They won't be asked today because this is the honeymoon period. But I think they will be asked a year or two down the lines. Yes, I think they will be. I mean, at some stage he will have to walk the talk on several of the promises that he made during the campaign.
And legitimately so. These are. Aditi, we're just going to come back in just a moment. I'm going to continue on this particular line of the things that Devendra Fadnavis has said. We're going to take a quick break. We're also going to go live across to our reporters and our managing editor Rahul Kaval in just a moment at or outside the Wankhede Stadium to get you some live details as well. We'll have guests joining us from Mumbai as well. And the man on your screen is Maharashtra's new Chief Minister, the first BJP Chief Minister of the state, 44-year-old Devendra Fadnavis, the second youngest Chief Minister to take oath. Here he is just a short while ago at the Wankhede Stadium, moments after being sworn in as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, mixing with the crowds. Lots of people there. It was a capacity crowd expected of about 40,000. The exact number of people who actually turned up for the mega event is not known at this time, but Devendra Fadnavis ecstatic at this point of time, mixing with the crowds, very much like the Prime Minister has sometimes done in the past after events of this kind. Here is Devendra Fadnavis just a short while from now. He will be addressing the state through state television as well. We'll get you excerpts of that address in just a short while from now. Rajdeep Sardesai is with us, Dr. Manisha Priyam live with us as well, Aditi Fadnis, senior journalist. Aditi, before we went into the break, we were talking about Devendra Fadnavis, the things that he had said, during his campaign about corruption and the manner in which there's going to be a great deal of scrutiny. I mean, it's a honeymoon period now, but the things he's spoken about, Vidarbha, corruption, all of those things are going to be looked at very closely now.
It's interesting you should say that, because I think we have to look at the editorial that Samna has written, and particularly the two lines which say that Uddhav Thackeray is saying that I hope he is better than his predecessors. To me, that sounds really ominous, because it's possible that now Uddhav Thackeray and the Shiv Sena will attack the NCP via the BJP and say, look, you said this, you alleged this, now please put them all in jail. Although Uddhav Thackeray and Sharad Pawar also have a very good relationship, so I mean they have collaborated in the past, but we have to see now what role the Shiv Sena is going to play vis-a-vis Devendra Fadnavis, and how much he's going to allow himself to be cornered by his supposed erstwhile ally and supposed comrade in arms.
Can he be cornered by them?
My sense is it much depends on, first of all, whether the Shiv Sena joins the government or not. I think that's the critical thing. If the Shiv Sena stays outside and becomes the opposition, let's say, because they are the largest party then in the Vidhan Sabha as the opposition party, then I think Devendra Fadnavis will have a slightly tough time, because then I think Aditi is right, the Shiv Sena will look to use this opportunity to suggest in some way that the BJP and the NCP are in some kind of an unholy alliance. And I think Devendra Fadnavis's first problem is within his party. For all those images that you are seeing on your screen today, the other leaders in Maharashtra have not accepted his leadership. Let's be clear, Eknath Khadse And
they're there because they have to.
They are just waiting for an opportunity to see him slip. If he does, they will be ready to pounce at the moment. He has the blessings of Narendra Modi, which is why he should sleep safely today and feel a little secure. But I think his real challenge will be first within, and then I think will be managing this tricky Shiv Sena NCP balance, because you are a minority government dependent on the outside support of the NCP and the support of the Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena will not withdraw support.
Yes.
And the Shiv Sena is not going to oppose any vote of confidence in the assembly. But I think somewhere this balancing act will require a lot of experience between the Shiv Sena and the BJP. And there are innumerable scams in Maharashtra that have taken place over the last 10-15 years. Through RTI, many of them will keep coming out.
Yeah.
How will Mr. Fadnavis deal with them will be his big challenge.
All right, that could be his big challenge. Dr. Manisha Priyam is back with us on the line. Dr. Priyam, how do you feel about that? The fact that the new Chief Minister's first challenges could be from within?
It's not about could be. Yes, of course, the new Chief Minister's challenges will be from within because they do not have the clear numbers.
Yeah.
But if you listen carefully to what Rajdeep and Aditi have had to say before me, I would guess that Devendra Fadnavis, who has no past track record of having ever governed as Chief Minister of the state or held the reins of power, will clearly focus himself on an agenda that will be towards governance, an agenda that will regionally focus strongly on Vidarbha, and in a sense, the contentious areas, the scams and the corruptions have mainly and to a large extent been about land.
Yes.
So that unholy alliance, that fight and that bickering can happen between the Shiv Sena and the NCP on the implicit other stage managers would be managing the stage outside of the assembly. It won't be a floor level stage management that will happen. It will be a stage management that will happen beyond, the public eye, beyond the scrutiny of the public eye. And Fadnavis will always retain the upper hand in terms of exposing any scam. And law and order, remember, is the subject that remains the prerogative of the state government.
Yes.
So at any point of time, if there's something that's not working very well, the law and order card is always there with Devendra Fadnavis. So what he would have attained with his, smaller numbers and in the short run would be an image of governance, a very strong focus on Vidarbha. If things don't work out well, then BJP has been a past master at carving out small states when things haven't worked out for it in larger states. That strategy still remains with the BJP. It won't use it yet, but it will focus strongly on one region. It will focus very strongly on governance and always use the law and order card to keep the coalition partner in check. Now, I would say this style of, managing a coalition, very different from that one could see with the UPA, where one could see that one coalition partner, the DMK, literally spoilt the party for, the larger party. So the game of the veto parties is clearly up. How do you keep alliance partners in check? And how do you keep carving out a territory and a name for yourself? That's the kind of new mantra that's on.
Well, every step,
and to that extent, the whole anti-corruption plank will remain with the incumbent. Now, that's something clearly unheard of. One has
every single step that the new Chief Minister, the young new Chief Minister of Maharashtra takes is going to be under a great deal of scrutiny, the way it really should be. Lots of promises have been made. Will it be a development agenda, a focus on Vidarbha? Lots of things have been speculated. The simple fact is, the honeymoon period begins now, but it won't last long. The questions will be asked and action will be focused. The spotlight will be focused on the things that the Chief Minister said during his campaign and the action that he takes now for Maharashtra. Thanks very much, Rajdeep. Thanks very much, Aditi Fadnavis and Dr. Manisha Priyam for joining us on this broadcast here on Headlines today on the swearing in of the first BJP Chief Minister of Maharashtra.